I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Scarlet Nation, this is Night Watch. I am your host, Larry K. First of all, a couple preliminary things. One, I'm sorry that this is a late video. It's kind of going to be a quick, recap of the Sacred Heart game and then kind of looking on to Umass-Lowell. I'm going to get these videos out much quicker. It's just, hey, it was a hectic Friday. It was a rainy Friday. I was able to catch the game, and I was able to take it in, but I just had a lot going on this morning. So you're going to have a lot more, games for me and videos for me where I'm talking about the game directly after it, and etc. Second order of business, I just want to thank all the new subscribers after the second video. We got a good amount of subscribers. Welcome everybody to Night Watch. I think this channel is going to grow. It's going to be a nice resource and a nice community for Rutgers fans to just come in, talk about what's going on, air out their joys, air out their sorrows, and just participate. I'm really looking forward to it. So welcome to everybody who has subscribed thus far. If you haven't subscribed yet, just take the little bit, less than a second it's going to take right under here. Right under this video, there's a subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button, it helps me grow. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's a long way off, but I've done it before more than once on different channels. So we can do it. We will do it. Rutgers Nation is strong. The alumni base is strong. The Scarlet Faithful are strong. Let's get there. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't yet and you like the content, we've been getting, upwards of 70, 80 viewers, but only a handful of likes. Just click the like button. Clicking the like button helps our algorithm get out there, helps us get noticed, and helps other people find the channel. And feel free to share the channel if you enjoy the content that we have on here, if you enjoy the discussion. This is not just going to be a channel where I get up here and recap the games. This is going to be a channel where, on away games, because home games I'll be there a lot. It's going to be a little more difficult to get on right away. But away games, I'll hop on here, some away games right after the game. We can have interactive live shows. You can hop on the video with me. I have mechanisms to do that, so you guys can hop on your phones or wherever and talk to me live. There'll be a lot more content, a lot more things happening on this channel. So it's not just me kind of talking about it. We're going to grow it into more things. So go ahead and subscribe. There's going to be a lot of content going forward, and this thing can only grow. All right, all that being said, all that out of the way, let's talk about the second game. Rutgers is 2-0, and we had another victory, this time 88-50 over the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Sacred Heart, not really a slouch in their own division. I believe they scored upwards of 80 points or 70 points their first game. So it was no slouch of a team, although we're all aware these are not major teams, that you're expecting to really be too competitive with. These are teams we're expected to take care of business with, teams we are expected to beat, and we are expected to beat handily. The good news is, like I said, in reference to the game against Columbia, we're doing what we want to do, right? Last year we had some stumbles, and I don't even think it was just, exclusive to last year. We had some struggles against some of these teams, kind of in the Pike era. Almost every season we've had that. Now, it remains to be seen if we struggle against any of these teams, because we got a few more of them on our schedule. But at this juncture right now, it seems like we're taking care of business. And once again, we have a great decisive win where we don't play down to our opponent. We play a good game. We play our game. We still manage to rotate guys in. I think Pike's still learning a lot about his players and his team and his, lineups and, who fits best with who works best with who. Getting to see it in person has been a pleasure. I'm able to kind of see how guys are moving around, how guys are interacting, et cetera, et cetera. I can tell you, Caleb McConnell, he may not be back Saturday. I don't think he's going to be back Saturday, but I can tell you that Caleb looks like he's moving fine. I saw him during warm-ups. He's chilling at half court. He's got his, full jogging suit on, but he's dribbling the ball. He wanted to go up and jump a couple times, but kind of looked over at Pike and the staff and then decided not to. So I'm sure they don't want him doing too much right now. But he's moving fine. He's walking fine. Everything looks fine. So I'm sure that, he's only staying out for precautionary reasons, and he's only staying out now to make sure that he's 100% for the games that we need him in when we need him. So Caleb McConnell, I fully expect to be back and ready based on just the eye test, what I saw sitting there looking at the court. Let's get back into some of these players and how they've done and kind of how the team has looked. So you want to take care of business against the first two opponents, Columbia and Sacred Heart. We've done that, okay? And you want to do it decisively. We've done that. And then what's the third thing there? You want to see guys and players that you think are going to be integral parts of the team this season doing what you expect them to do and playing to the level you expect them to play to. So Cliff Amori already 17 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. The guy has come out like a force. He is a force. Nice mid-range jumper a couple times, couple nice dunks, but then he had the one drive in the paint, a beautiful layup, just boom, 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 finger roll up. Cliff's game is expanding, which is what you want to see. I still think the sky's the limit for Cliff. Just watching him, I still think there's another gear that he's going to shift into. He seems to be playing hard, but, there's another gear that Cliff can get into. And I think based on what we've seen so far, in-game action, not just what we've heard from practice, but you can include some of the things we've heard from practice. He has added to his game certain elements. This outside shot, the mid-range shot. Now he's driving to the hoop. I mean, this is a young man that if you watch him from his freshman year to now, and this I think is indicative of a lot of players in the Pike era. If you watch these guys' development from freshman to sophomore and then the big jump, there always seems to be a big jump with these players under Pike from sophomore year to junior year. And you see their game expand and you see their confidence rise and they become almost like figuratively young kids coming into college for the first time to grown men. And Cliff's game, the elements he's been able to add, I think not only has it been nice to see it in the first 2 games kind of come to fruition here and there, but watching them on the court and having seen him last year, I think there's even another gear that we're going to see Cliff Amori kick into. And 17 points is no slouch whatsoever, but I think we're going to see him, versatile on that floor, doing a lot of different things and causing a lot of matchup problems and a lot of headaches for a lot of coaches and a lot of post players and even outside players. So I'm loving what Cliff's doing. If you watch Sacred Heart, they were a smaller team on by most metrics. He was moving out to the perimeter defending. He was quick enough to do it. They were triple and double teaming him a lot of times. It cabined him a little bit. Again, that weird end of the first half thing, if this was a football game, would be like the second quarter. Again, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown there in 2 games now. Kind of interesting. I don't know if we get off the hot starts and then, the other team settles in, etc., but then we pick it up and handle business second half. If that becomes a trend, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but it's an interesting thing, just something to keep an eye on. But Cliff still found a way to score, which is what I'm talking about with adding these dimensions to his game. When the dunks weren't consistently there, when he wasn't comfortable always taking the outside shot, he found the mid-range. He found a drive. He started, using the backboard better, using his finger rolls more because you can't get into the dunk. He's still finding ways to score and score consistently. That's exactly what you want to see out of Cliff, and he's done it. Another player, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them, Andre Hyatt. There was a lot of discussion in the offseason. Can Andre Hyatt step up and fill a role as a scorer on this team and fill an important role and make up some of the points lost by our 2 departing, superstars? And thus far, he had a double-double his first game. Thus far, Andre Hyatt showing that he can. 19 points. 19 points, 3 rebounds. Didn't have any assists this game. But 19 points and 3 rebounds. That is above Cliff. He was the lead scorer on the team was Andre Hyatt. And he's the kind of guy, and I've said this, he's a forward, he gets boards. It's just with him, it's a matter of making the layups. I don't know sometimes it's like there's something on top of the net and it's hard for him, but he's hitting threes, okay? And he's doing it, he was hitting threes, and you could see the confidence growing in Hyatt. You could see the confidence. The first three, he kind of waited, then he hit it. After that, the second one, he was on point. He got it. Bam, it's in. Beautiful shot. He's feeling himself. He's throwing up the 3 sign. He's heading. That's what you want to see. Basketball is that kind of game. You want confidence. You want a guy who's going to keep shooting. You want a guy who believes in his shot. You want his teammates to believe in his shot. Andre Hyatt is doing a lot of things and can do a lot of things for this team. If you wanted to see somebody emerge and you wanted to feel confident that we could make up some of the scoring that we lost last year, you want to look to a guy like Andre Hyatt. Thus far, he's showing that he can be one of those guys to do that. And the other guy I'm going to segue into, speaking of swag, speaking of staring down baskets and making them, speaking of a multifaceted player that you really wanted to see step up and come to fruition if we were going to be able to replace some of the scoring ability and some of the presence of Gio and Ron. You're talking about Cam Spencer. Cam Spencer, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 18 points. And I think he had a bunch of steals, too. I don't have it in front of me. I think Cam Spencer had a bunch of steals. This is a kid who's playing very good on offense and then playing very good and being opportunistic on defense. He's stealing the ball like this, and then we don't even have Caleb. Caleb's going to come back, and you're talking about a tenacious defender like this. Cam Spencer is emerging as a really important piece to this program, and I didn't even realize until somebody the other day on the message board mentioned that Cam Spencer has 2 years of eligibility. So we got Cam Spencer next year too. That's huge, because if you watch this guy play, you see everything you'd like to see, and I'm sure Steve Peichel would like to see out of a player, a Rutgers ball player in this program. Cam Spencer is looking every bit as advertised, and that's huge. And I can tell you, I'm watching them during warm-ups going into the second half. I'm watching them shoot around, and Spencer is just knocking down every 3 he's taking in warm-ups. He's hitting every 3. And it was funny because I'm watching them warm up, and Spencer's hitting every one. And Hyatt starts draining a bunch of them in warm-ups. And as soon as Hyatt got the ball kind of to the left side, behind the arc, and he lined up, I was like, he's going to nail it, because he was nailing it during warm-ups. I knew he was going to nail it there, and sure enough, boom. These guys have a nice shot, and it's nice to see. It really is. Paul Mulcahy, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. So Paul's getting his rebound numbers in. Paul's getting his assists in. Again, he's a point guard out there. He's a quarterback out there. He's the leader out there. You can see him. He's setting up in the post. He's bringing the ball up. He's doing a lot of different things. He's creating a lot of different things for his teammates. If you got Spencer playing the way he's playing, and you got Hyatt playing the way he's playing, and obviously Amori playing the way he's playing, and then Paul were to turn it up the way he did during that stretch last year when we really needed him, you are really, really looking at a formidable team in the Big Ten. Now, Paul's always kind of been, he's either a tough, physical, tenacious, assist, rebounding presence who hits a couple opportunistic shots and a couple drives, or Paul is on fire and putting the team on his shoulders. No pun intended. He had the brace on. He looked okay. Paul is the leader, kind of the beating heart of this team, it seems like. He's out there getting a lot of minutes, 26 minutes. Spencer actually played 31 minutes, and then Omori was followed with 28. By the way, moving and segueing beautifully into discussion of players, you know who else had a lot of minutes? You have Cam Spencer with 31, Paul with 26, Cliff with 28. You know who had 27 minutes? Derek Simpson. Derek Simpson, 2 assists, 11 points. But let me tell you something. Derek Simpson, I'm not sure if I've seen a freshman player come out with this much forward momentum and this much just, it seems like Simpson, for lack of a better way to describe it, watching Simpson play, the game and the stage is not too big for him. a lot of freshmen, almost even our best players, when they came in, it wasn't that the stage was too big per se, but you saw the freshmen in them, though. You saw like the little hesitancy. They looked like they needed to be molded more to really reach their full potential. Watching Simpson play, he already has like a certain confidence and a certain level to his game that you don't even really look at him like a younger guy on the team. He's out there throwing down dunks. He's hitting important shots. He's out there handling the ball correctly. I mean, if this is Derek Simpson at this stage, and we're talking about Steve Pikiell's ability to, develop talent, and this is the future, it's looking nice. I am very, very excited about Derek Simpson and Derek Simpson's game. It seems as though some of the hype we've been hearing about Simpson is not at all misplaced, is not at all, overstated. And the future is bright with him. Mawot Mag, again, great minutes again. Very, very involved, tenacious, making moves, defending well. 3 rebounds, 8 points, 1 assist. I think Mag's a player where you're going to start to see his shot fall a little more. And when his shot falls a little more, I think he's going to be a very good piece for us. I think he kind of fits the mold of a few years ago where you had guys like that. So, the kid who went to St. John's, I don't know why it escapes me. I'm sorry about that. But it really... he's a good piece, and if he can get his scoring going, that's great. But the rebounding, the defense, just the kind of beating heart of the team, I think is important. And I think he's going to be a good piece. Dean Reber, again, Reber, the Grim Reber, and Montez Mathis. I wasn't going to turn the video off without knowing Montez Mathis. I see Mawot Mag when Tez was good. Tez was a really important piece and a high-energy piece. Sometimes he had his off days. Mawot Mag, I think when he turns his scoring up a little bit, and 8 points is no slouch either, by the way. But Mawot Mag could fit that kind of role maybe even a little better. So Mawot Mag, I'm excited about him too. But Reber went in there, did his thing. 2 fouls pretty early, so he was pulled pretty early. But nailed the 3 as he always does. You expect that from Reber. I actually liked Reber's bit of quickness on defense. I think it's going to be good. But here's the thing, speaking of post play, I really like Antoine Wilfolk's game. I like his game. He was able to make some nice, tough post moves. He was able to do some things that we really needed. And I'm excited about Wilfolk's game because we haven't necessarily had a very deep bench when it comes to post play on this team up to this point. But this year, it looks like if you could play around with Wilfolk and you could play around with Amori and then Reber, you have some, flexibility in terms of Reber and Wilfolk were on the court at the same time. And, they look good together. I like his game. He doesn't seem like a slouch. Now, granted, and you got to preface everything I'm saying with this. Granted, this is Sacred Heart. These are the beginning games, right? So I don't foresee us going as deep into the bench, obviously during, Big Ten play and other bigger games as we are now. That being said, and by the way, 5 points, 1 assist, 2 rebounds for Wilfolk. Jalen Miller, 14 minutes, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 points. I liked his little move he had. Jalen Miller's still out there. He's still playing D. All this to say, this could be, quite honestly, maybe our deepest team of the Pike era. And if you disagree or there's another team you think had more depth, comment below. I want your thoughts. But this could very well be the most depth we've had, the most formidable, playable depth we've had on one of Pike's teams since he got here. And it's encouraging because you have guys that really can do they have different skill sets, they fill different roles, and they go deep into the bench. So I'm curious and anxious to see because Normally when we're playing all these guys, sometimes it's like, oh, why'd you pull them, put the starters back in? We're falling behind. This guy isn't carrying his weight. This guy's getting in trouble. This guy's getting beat every play. This guy can't score. I'm not seeing it this year. This year, the guys getting in look like they can play. They can play with a lot of the starters to an extent. So, a guy like Simpson, I think he's going to get minutes against good teams. He looks like he's coming along pretty quickly. And then you got Miller, who played last year already, and now you got him too still. You got Wilfork. You got these guys. And I think it's maybe going to be one of the deeper teams that Pike has had. And it's exciting. But again, it's Sacred Heart. We're going to lose some games. We're going to win some games. Like, we can't get too hyped, but you want to be 2-0, and you want to be 2-0 the way we're 2-0. Because you want to see guys playing the way they're playing. You want to see the depth play. You want to see development of certain players. You want to see the, added dynamics to certain players' games like Cliff. You want to see us blow teams out. You want to see us hunker down and play defense. You want to see us not take anybody lightly. You're seeing all of that. You're seeing all that. One thing that was kind of concerning, Sacred Heart got a lot of looks inside. They got a lot of looks inside, a lot of quick moves down low, and they got to the basket. They got to the rim. They made it. I don't know if that's indicative of just small ball versus our size. I don't know if that's us taking a little lightly. I think, and we still destroyed them, so I'm not saying that it was a huge concern, but just to be fair, I also think a lot of it had to do with foul trouble. There were a couple times where Cliff could have really stepped up and been a rim protector, and a couple other guys, and they noticeably, to me, kind of backed off. And I think it was like, to not get foul trouble. We were way ahead. What's the point? I think they're playing smarter. I think they're trying to play smarter. I think they're trying to pick their spots. But it's just something to keep an eye on going forward. You hope that you don't have guys making quick moves down low and getting to the rim too much. You don't want to see that. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Again, that being said, it's Sacred Heart. So look, next up is Umass-Lowell. And let's talk about them. They're in first. I think they're in first place. First place in the America East Conference. They're 2-0. So they're no offensive slouch as far as they look. So they hung 108 points on Fisher. 108-43, they spanked Fisher. Now, so that's no slouch. 108-43. And then our common opponent so far, Columbia, they beat them 89-62. So they beat Columbia. We beat Columbia. It is what it is in that respect. We beat Columbia 75-35. So they obviously let Columbia score a lot more than we did. And, but they hung about more points on Columbia than we did. So it looks like Umass-Lowell can score. I'm expecting some kids to have nothing to lose, to play loose, to come out, to shoot the ball, to make moves, to do what they got to do. It's a Saturday game. Unfortunately, it's the first game I won't be able to make. And I thought I wasn't going to make the last one, but I did. The first game I won't be able to make. So I won't be there, but I'll be watching, and I'll obviously have a reaction and a video for you after it. May not be in this nice setup with this microphone and all that. I may be not at home and able to get in my studio, so you may have to endure a cell phone recap, but I will get you guys a recap. But it's another good test, right? And I think this will be a good test on defense too. Now, this is the third game in a row. You got a team coming into Jersey Mike's. Third game in a row, you should be taking care of business. Third game in a row, the other team's playing loose, probably looking for the ever-elusive upset in that arena. And I think it's a good test for our guys to stay focused, to show that they are still playing up to their opponents, not down to their opponents, to show that they are going to play tough defense on a team that can score, and to show us what they have. And I'm curious to see what some of these players do, and I'm curious to see how this team responds to, sometimes you respond to adversity, and sometimes you respond to positivity. They're 2-0. They've taken care of business the first two games against teams they should have taken care of business against, and they've won in blowout fashion, and they are getting deep on the bench, and guys have a lot to be confident about. Well, how you respond to that is important too. If they go in Saturday and all of a sudden it doesn't look the same, the good vibes are fleeting. So let's hope and let's expect that when Umass-Lowell comes in, we shut them down, we play our defense, we play our game, and we see more of the same with the development of these young guys and with the tenacity on defense and with the, Steve Peichel style of play. They are moving the ball very well, this team. In fact, sometimes they're moving the ball so much that I'm like, stop moving, though, just take the shot, you're open. They continue to move the ball, which I think is gonna help good things happen. I think basketball teams too. And the best basketball team I ever played on myself was at 5-Star Basketball Camp when I was a high school student. And we were, on paper, the worst team in the league that year. And we were in the middle league, the NCAA. If you know anything about 5-Star Basketball Camp, you would know that. But we were undefeated. We actually lost the tiebreaker for first place at the end against a team, and it came down to a 3-point shot. This is my old glory stories no one gives a crap about in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. But the best team I was ever on is because we move the ball so much on pick and rolls and passing the ball, finding the open man, and then that fed into the energy we had on defense, and we were just blanketing people. And that's how Pike likes to play. That's the style of play Pike likes. So I think us moving the ball the way we do on offense and getting the ball to the open man and just that constant teamwork translates well to the defensive effort and the swarming defense that we want to have, which will translate to wins. So it's all looking good in that respect. Let's beat Umass-Lowell. Guys, once again, thanks for joining me on Night Watch. Again, if you've watched the show and you have not done so yet, it takes a millisecond. Just hit that subscribe button. Click that subscribe button right below me. If you're not a YouTube member, it takes 2 seconds to sign up to YouTube. Sign up to YouTube. You can do it through Google. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Help the channel grow. And let's go Rutgers on Saturday. Also, let's go, football-wise against MSU. I'll be watching that too. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. Later.